All right. Well, we're just going to dive in here. Starting off, everybody, this is Logan Hanks, and I'm joined today with my good buddy for like, I was trying to think, man. It's been like 15 years or something. How many
At
years?
least.
But it's my good buddy Brent Ruffin. Give us a little introduction, man. Give us a rundown.
Well, I mean, you just kind of introed me, but
Yeah, but tell us who you are. What do you do?
okay. Well, I'm Brent, and like Logan said, we've known each other for 15 plus years. Kind of grew up going to school with each other in our younger years, and I don't, man, I feel really weird. I don't feel like I mean, I don't really do anything special. I mean, I've been on American Ninja Warrior 5 times. I run a kickboxing and jiu-jitsu gym. I've competed in MMA, competed in jiu-jitsu, judo, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just I guess I'm just your regular guy with a bunch of extra stuff.
There you go. And a very avid hunter at the same time.
Yep, a very avid hunter. I guess that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the only reason I wanted you here, remember, for the most part. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, let's dive in. I like to do some kind of random questions. I like to get the blood pumping a little bit, so we'll dive in. If you got to pick between burgers, tacos, or pizza, which one are you giving up?
Oh, giving up.
Yeah, you got to give up one.
Burgers, tacos, or pizza. Dang, I'd have to say tacos.
Tacos?
Yeah, I'd have to say tacos.
And pizza would be mine.
I had a burger today, actually.
Yeah. Well, I definitely couldn't give up a burger.
Yeah.
I had one guy say burger, and I'm like, man, you're borderline communist for that one.
No, dude, but the thing, I mean, but if I'm like super hungry, like I know, like after every time I cut weight for a competition like MMA or whatever, jiu-jitsu, like anytime I cut any kind of big kind of weight, the whole time I'm cutting weight, the only thing I'm thinking about is pizza. I'm serious.
Really?
Like, and even when I'm just normally hungry, I'm just thinking about pizza.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, pizza is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it's like the ultimate carb load.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it definitely have to be tacos. Now I would say like tacos, like going to Taco Bell and getting like 10, just just smashing out 10 Taco Bell tacos. I mean, you're gonna regret it the next day, but
Or maybe a couple hours later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. And now, if you had or you could hunt with any president, past or like whatever, past or present, who would it be?
I feel like this is going to be a really cliche answer. It's going to be between the two. It's going to be between two of them. I would love to hunt with Trump.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be hilarious. I think he's hilarious in general.
Yeah, I do too.
But I'd also want to go hunt with George Bush.
Yeah. The senior or
the most recent George Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. The only thing that worries me about George Bush is he's in cahoots with. Oh man, I'm gonna sound like such a dumbass. Who's the vice president?
It's Cheney that shot
Cheney.
the guy.
Yeah, shot the guy on the pheasant hunt. Yeah. They're in cahoots, So I'd just be kind of watching my back the whole time. So, but no, if I had to pick one for sure. Like I said, it sounds cliche, but I think it'd be hilarious to go hunt something with Trump. Yeah. I just feel like he'd be talking shit the whole time.
I do too. Well, that's a Jack Ruffin. When I had him on, he actually said Bush Jr. And I said, man, aren't you worried about Cheney? And he was like, Cheney's not coming on this hunting trip. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you on that one. Yeah, I think Trump and I've yet to have anybody want to take Obama hunting. I don't know. He must not draw a real crowd on the hunting side.
No, I don't think. Is polar opposite as Obama is to most red-blooded American. The way everybody sees him. I feel like he is a very intelligent dude.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much intelligent. Maybe very calculated.
Yeah. Are you coming out as a liberal?
No, absolutely not. No. No, but I do try to look a little further into it and just being like, Obama.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I just don't feel like he'd be a very interesting guy to hunt with. I feel like he'd just be like, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, moving on.
Like all the celebrities like him. Maybe he's a secretly fun guy.
They don't seem like they have much fun.
Yeah, they're probably not real.
They
fun
seem like
either.
they do a lot of coke.
Yeah, and complain about calves and their milk. Joaquin. All right, last one. If you had to watch the same movie for 24 hours in a row, what would it be?
Oh my God, the same. That's a tough one. 24 hours in a row.
Yeah.
You know, I just swear to God, I probably could watch Nacho Libre for 24 hours straight.
That is an underrated film.
It is. It is. Listen, my dad, I probably, for real, my whole life, I just turned 30. My whole life, I have probably sat down and watched maybe 4 whole movies with my dad. Yeah. Nacho Libre being one of them.
Your dad likes Nacho Libre?
My dad, yeah, you know my dad. You know, I'm not going to give the whole spiel about my dad on here, but you know who my dad is and how he is. And we for real, we've sat down and maybe watched 4 movies together. Nacho Libre being one of it, and I swear that's probably the hardest I have ever heard that dude laugh.
Man, I cannot picture Chuck watching Nacho Libre, but the corn in the face part still trips me out. That's what I just can't help but think about.
Dude, there's so many that, like you said, it's so underrated. There's so many underrated like little one-liners in there, dude. Oh, good toast, you know.
That movie, I'm gonna have to watch that again. It's been a long time since I watched that one.
Oh, I mean, there's some of the funniest scenes ever. Like even when they're not talking, like when they're training.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it's what's his name? Dang it. Is it Skeletor? Or is that his wrestling name? Little skinny guy. Little skinny guy he's with. Anyway, but anyway, I'd definitely say probably Nacho Libre.
Well, that is not what I expected, but that's a good one. Like I said, that's an underrated film.
Well, I mean, there's so many good movies out there. Like I feel like I could watch The Patriot or Braveheart, but then at the same time, like those are movies like I know I can watch over and over and over again, but it like spaced out.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't have the same, or Saving Private Ryan, something like that. Yeah. It wouldn't have the same effect if I watched it, you know, if I just kept watching it over and over and over again. I feel like it just ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Nacho Libre and movies like Napoleon Dynamite, they're just.
Did you ever watch Kung Pao?
Yeah. Dude, you want to talk about underrated?
Yes.
Kung Pao is like one of the most underrated comedies ever.
I know, and I was so sad that they never made the Fists of Fury or whatever, or Tongue of Fury or whatever the second one was.
I think the first one's the Fist of Fury, isn't it?
Yeah, it may be. I can't remember what the second one was, but I
probably just butchered it. But
yeah, I loved Kung Pao.
Yeah.
And like when he punches that plug out of that guy's stomach and he's like, I don't even think that's scientifically possible.
It's just like a perfect circle.
He's like, with all the organs and stuff. Yeah, that movie is definitely underrated.
Oh man.
All right, well tell us, man, how'd you get started hunting, man? I mean, how did it all begin?
Man, such a hard transition.
I know.
Go from Kung Pao to now I actually have to think.
Well, you were punching plugs out of deer and stuff. Like, how did it start?
How did I get started? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I downloaded Instagram, and I saw a bunch of chicks. I saw a bunch of Instagram chicks that had thousands of followers taking pictures with their bows and their butt sticking out.
So you did the same.
And, dude, it just did it for me. I was like, man, this is what's going to get me famous, finally. So I'm going to pick up a bow. I'm going to put on some skimpy shorts.
Not actually know how to shoot that bow.
Yeah.
just get up there and just try to look very provocative.
Correct. Okay. No, for real. I got started hunting. I want to say my dad had me with a 410 in my hand. I want to say at 6 or 7 years old. Started out squirrel hunting.
Yeah.
You know, just a small game, stuff like that. You know, then as the years went on, you know, anywhere I want to say from 6 to 10, you know, I'd go on a few deer hunts and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it just all started with me just tagging along with my dad. You know, just I'm trying to calculate. My thoughts have been so long ago. Like I said, I just turned 30, so it's hard to think back that far. Yeah, I would say the majority of my hunt had started out, you know, like I said, small game, and then transition into deer hunting. Wasn't too much into duck hunting whenever I was younger. I mean, it was just tough to, you know, getting chest waders and freezing cold outside. You're constantly, you know, it's just kind of miserable.
Yeah, and freaking early.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I started, man. I just, you know, just tagging along with my dad until I finally got old enough to go by myself. My dad got to where, I guess when I was probably, I don't know, 12, 13, he started letting me kind of walk to my deer stand by myself,
Yeah.
and I thought I was all big and bad until like it was an afternoon hunt. I'd be perfectly fine walking to my stand, and he wouldn't even be 200 yards from me.
Yeah.
But when it would get dark, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to get out of my stand. And there was a couple times I got out of my stand at like prime time because I didn't want to be walking in the dark.
Yeah. Well, you always have that like bobcat or something that kind of stalks you a little bit. I had one that followed me because that's what I was hunting a box stand back behind my parents, and I had a bobcat actually kind of follow me to the stand, and it kind of propped up on the ladder, and I was probably, I'm secure in this box stand, but I was probably 13, 14 like that, and yeah, it was terrifying. I remember that's a terrifying thing. But how old were you when you killed your first deer? What?
I was 8 years old. I actually feel like I've probably told this story to you probably 20 different times. I was 8 years old. I want to say it was my second or third deer hunt. My dad had gotten me a 243. 243 for Christmas. That rifle just ain't got no kick to it. Just a perfect
Is that the same one you've still been using?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I upgraded to a 308 now.
Yeah.
But I will.
It's his wife's.
It is my wife's. No, 3 or 4 years ago, whenever I still, I'd say probably a little bit longer than that, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when I still really just rifle hunted a bunch. I still hunted with my little Junior Savage 243.
Yeah,
it'll kill the crap out of deer.
Well, it's all in the shot placement.
Yep. But no, I want to say it was probably my second or third deer hunt. We were actually set up in a blind and like one of the under one of those. It's probably going to sound stupid, but I don't think there was any like chance of us getting shocked. But it was under a giant power line, one of the big towers or whatever. There was a blind set up there, and a guy had told my dad to take me out there. It'd probably be a good chance of me killing my first deer. And so we're sitting in this blind, and about 7 or 8, dude, I can remember it vividly. Probably about 7 or 8 does walked out in front of us, and my dad kept telling me, just put it on one right behind her shoulder, put it on one right behind her shoulder, easy. And man, I didn't know. All I saw was brown in the scope, and dude, I shot.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what happened. All of a sudden, I heard my dad go, "Oh shit!" I look up and there's 2 deer laying on the ground.
Oh God, you shot 2 at once.
Yep,
I shot. That's a heck of a way to start, though.
Yep, two in one shot. I did not realize, and I don't guess my dad realized it either. But yeah, there was another doe that had kind of walked behind the one I was aiming at, and smoked both of them.
Well, that's a good way to start, man. Yep. 2 for 1. And I guess you can't kill 3 a day. Well, could you then?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't remember then.
I have no idea. I know now in certain counties in Tennessee, if you're I think it's Unit L, you can kill 3 does a day. I'm sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was legal. I think it just took it took him by surprise.
2. Well, I thought you were going to say you made some terrible shot. No, that's pretty good. 2 for 1.
Yep, 2 and 1. That was my first my first deer killing experience.
Yeah. Now at 8, had you done the hunter safety thing yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I remember I took it with 2 buddies. Our moms actually took us. Our dads were nowhere in sight.
Really?
Nope. I think our dad showed up for the actual testing day.
Yeah.
But the other, like the 2 or 3 classes we had to go to, our moms were with us.
Yeah. My dad always took me to that, but I don't even think they have to go to a class hardly anymore.
No.
It may be like all online or something. Yeah. I don't know. Man, that's crazy. 8 years old. I get a kick out of, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but I get a kick out of the people that post, and it'll be like a 4-year-old kid, and he's got like a rifle, and it's his first deer kill, and I'm like, man, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you saying?
Saying
you don't believe it?
I don't believe it. I don't know. I'm struggling to believe it. I am. Do you believe that?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, just think about it with the right setup, or maybe they have like a bipod, or
Well, I guess they do have.
Know what I mean? I mean, think about it. Just with the way certain AR platforms are set up now, with almost no recoil and stuff. I mean, you've seen the YouTube videos. There's one that was floating around that was super famous or not famous, but it was viral or whatever.
Yeah.
Of that little girl, dude, she couldn't have been more than 4 years old.
That's true. Yeah.
And her and her dad were sitting in the ground blind. She freaking smoked one.
What if the kid's got like a 300 Win Mag? That's when I'd be a little. But I mean, I don't care how
pushing
good
it.
the tripod or something you got.
Yeah, that's pushing it. I don't know, man. I don't know. That one's kind of pushing it. But I mean, who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Well, what's your most memorable hunt? And it could be deer, turkey, anything, squirrel, whatever.
That's also a tough one. I will say, which I know, which we discussed it. We discussed this a lot. It was probably my worst deer season I've ever had. I believe it was the 2018 season. I'll just kind of preface it with all this. It'll just kind of add to why the hunt was so why it turned out so well. But at the beginning of the season, I do a lot of preparation and getting set up, and I primarily bow hunt. I will rifle hunt some, but I was set up in a spot, and been seeing a couple of good deer on camera, and just it was early. I want to say it was right at the end of October where bucks kind of start getting curious and start sniffing around a little more.
Yeah.
Well, I had this perfect I would say he's probably 130, 135 inch 8-point. Just around here, dude. Heck of a bow kill.
Yeah, yeah.
And dude, I'd been grunt calling a little bit, grunted at him a little bit, and he walked in right at, I would say, a little less than 30 yards, man. Lined him up. I don't know why. I feel like I rushed a shot, but dude, I just shot. I shot. And man, it sounded like a 9mm went off in there, dude. It was so, I knew I shoulder punched him.
Yeah.
Right. So, just a bad shot. We tracked that deer, lost him. And he got to run through a bunch of sloughs, man, dude. I would say we tracked that deer for a whole day. I think I even went back the next day to look for him, and just not a lot of blood. We found my arrow, not a lot of blood on the arrow. So, it was just a bad day. You don't ever want to wound one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we move on to muzzleloader season. I don't know if you remember that. Like I said, it was a 2018 season, but it was like the only snow we got that year, and it was like one little wet, nasty, just spit snow.
Yeah.
Well, I had gotten to the stand really early, and it was muzzleloader season, so bucks are starting to chase around here, and I heard the beans rustling behind me. I turn around and look, and there are two just freaking stud monkeys just sitting out, just standing out in the field. But it was crazy because 2 bucks together. I wasn't expecting to see 2 together.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I picked my muzzleloader up and put it on and put it on what I thought was the biggest one, and I shot. Muzzleloader smoke, poof. And you don't see anything but smoke for a little while, and I see them both running off. Very well. I'm like, I know I hit that deer. I'd sighted in my muzzleloader, and I knew I'd shot. I knew my shot placement was good.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but pretty much the same story, just with the muzzleloader. We didn't find any blood. No blood. We looked. Went back the next day. Actually got our guy Nate here to come out, and he brought his drone out, and we looked in all these big open fields.
Yeah.
I
do remember that.
Yeah, looked at all these open. I remember I was texting. I was just freaking sick, dude. I was sick. I was like, dude, this is the second. I never had this. Had the second deer, this season. And long story short, let's on to the most memorable hunt. Man, it is freezing this morning. I'm in the same stand that I missed the deer with my muzzleloader out of. It is freezing. I'm texting my wife. I'm like, dude, it is freaking cold. I was like,
is this the little lock on that I've seen? Is it a lock on? Or
no, this is just like a little single man ladder stand. It's like a 15-foot ladder stand.
Yeah.
But it's a great stand. I've killed a lot of deer out of it. Always lots of deer activity. It's just in this little bitty thin tree line.
Yeah.
And all around just acres and acres of farmland.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's early, and like a little 3 or 4 point comes walking under me, and I'm looking at him. Matter of fact, I had like an acorn in my hand. I was about to throw it at him. Like, I was just bored. I was freezing to death. And I don't know what, I look up, and about 30 yards past where I shot at that deer with my muzzleloader, there is a giant 10-point standing there.
Yeah.
And dude, I start freaking out. Like, I'm fumbling all over the place. And at this point, I had my rifle. I was sick to death that I had missed one with my bow, sick to death that I had missed one with my muzzler. I said, screw it, I'm taking the big gun.
If I miss with this one, I'm done.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's where it gets interesting.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, I am squatting up and down trying to find a limb because he's at about 130 yards. And my only rest, dude, I could not see the deer.
Yeah.
You know, and he's at 130 yards. I'm freaking out. So I finally decided, I'm like, dude, I got to freehand it, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So does the stand have a rifle rest on it?
No, I took it off.
Okay.
Because like I said, I primarily bow hunt. It's just a pain in the butt to get around.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I freehand shoot this deer. Well, I know I hit him because he dropped to the point where he almost hit the ground, but then he took off running.
Yeah.
So I called my dad and I said, I think I just shot the biggest deer in my life.
I do remember this one.
Yeah.
I definitely remember
I think I texted you. Yeah. I was texting you about it. I was like, I'm pretty sure I just shot the biggest deer of my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm freaking out. I knew I'd hit him. You know, my dad was like, all right, chill out. You know, I knew I was already going to be sitting there for about 45 minutes. Just, you know, if he was going to go bleed out, I was going to give him his time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get down. I find a little bit of blood. My dad shows up. Long story short, we end up tracking this deer all day. All day, dude. I remember I was texting you about it. I'm pretty sure I sat down in the woods and I might have cried.
Yeah. I can remember how, like, disheartened you were about this thing.
Oh,
yeah, I can definitely remember that.
I was sick to death because I was like, man, this is the biggest deer I've ever shot, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, and if I don't get this deer, this is the third deer I've lost this year, and I'm just the worst hunter of all time.
With all three weapons
yeah.
you could possibly use. Yeah.
So anyway, dude, we look for, and I remember we're tracking this deer, and the last sign we find is it's dead middle in this giant bean field, and it's a piece of bone, like when you hit him in the leg. And I was like, dude, I just lost this deer. I cannot believe it. And so, dude, I'm literally sick to death. I think I done texted all y'all. I was like, man, I said I just lost the best deer of my freaking life, and you know, I think I'm done for the year. I had hit that rock bottom, man. Yeah. And but weird thing about it is I went. There was this box stand. I had gotten permission from this other landowner to track. Yeah. And I went and stood in this box stand, and all of a sudden I heard two dogs barking, like just like raging out, just, you know, barking. Yeah. And so I was like, that's weird. And then I heard just almost like a, I don't want to say it was like a death growl or a groan or something, but I knew it sounded like a deer. I knew it sounded like a buck. Yeah. So I texted my dad and I took off across the field. Well, I get to a ditch, and dude, these two giant dogs come out of the ditch, and they're just like staring me down, and I'm like, holy crap! I mean, they're huge. One of them was a wolf hybrid. Wow. A giant dog, dude. Yeah. And
so you're ready to shoot.
Well, I was ready, and but that dog wasn't the aggressive one. It was the other one that looked like a boxer. Heck, I don't know. All I know is they were two giant dogs. Yeah. I'm like, okay, obviously these are probably the dogs that I heard bark. Why are they coming up out of this ditch? Yeah. So I drop down in there, and the water's about knee deep, and I'm looking around. I'm like, dude, it's like this is a crapshoot, man. I have been all over the place. It's getting to be about 3:00. And I'm literally about to give up. I'm about to give up. I'm talking to my neighbor on the phone, and I told him, I said, I'm done for the year, dude. Yeah. And I round this little corner, and as I round the corner, that freaking buck he's laying in the water, like on his front end. He's looking right at me, dude, like snarling at me. I was like, holy shit. Dude, I about to drop my phone in the water. Man, I was throwing stuff left trying to get to my gun, and that deer, he started trying to stand up. And I busted him right there. And so,
now the dogs had like chewed on him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I really, like I said, it's my most memorable hunt. But at the same time, I really, it's depressing when I go back and think about it, because you train all year, and you shoot all year, and you practice all year to be lethal. Yeah. Right. I would say any reputable hunter could say that. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I said, we do all this preparation and all that kind of stuff, man. And ultimately what it came down to is I made a bad shot. I made a bad shot on it, and it happens sometimes. That's not what we want to happen, but it happens sometimes. And those dogs had gotten hold of him and slowed him down. And So I was happy to. They're the reason I found the deer, but I was happy to find that deer just to to end the
misery,
end the suffering, and and take them out like I'm supposed to.
Yeah. Well, like you said, man. I mean, I think if anybody hunts enough, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I have unfortunately made bad shots with my rifle, and like I've said, unfortunately with my bow, I'm on a streak of bad. And every time I make one of those, I'm like, I'm hanging the bow up. I'm done. Like it like does that, and that's I'll kind of lead into the next one. I mean, why bow hunting? What's the reason, man? It's like I've said, I know it's an adrenaline like nothing else, but like what is it? What drew you to that?
Well, it's another one that kind of it's another one that kind of goes goes back to my dad. I just remember my dad had a PSE bow.
Yeah.
And he had a sight called a pendulum sight on it. I think that was like the big sight back in the day, like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I need to quit drinking this Bud Light, dude. It's making me burp. I know I should
just stick to the whiskey.
I should have gone to the whiskey, man. No, and I just remember some guys, a couple of buddies of my dad's just talking about like, man, just he's bad to the bone with that bow, man. Everything he shoots at that bow, like he gets it. They don't go 40 yards and stuff. And he had gotten some real good buck kills with that bow and stuff like that. And I kept telling him, I was like, I want a bow hunt. I want a bow hunt. He's like, I don't think you can pull a bow back. And he was right.
How old were you?
Like maybe 12.
Yeah.
And I could barely get 45 pounds back. Like my dad was like, we got to get you on some weights.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, no, that's kind of how I started. And, he ended up he bought me a, I want to say it was a Martin, and it was a pretty decent compound bow. And I got to where I got to where I was pulling 60 pounds back. And I remember he kept telling me, he's like, you got to shoot. You have to shoot. This is not, this isn't like a rifle that you can shoot all season. And it's not like a rifle you can shoot all season and then just put it up, pull it out, and go hunt with it. He said you have to practice.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I didn't practice. I was a kid. I didn't practice how I was supposed to, all this kind of whatnot. And I was fortunate enough to grow up on land. And the farmer that was around us gave us permission to hunt back there. So I could just walk in my backyard and go deer hunting.
Yeah.
So my dad kept telling me, he's like, there's a good buck back there, and I knew there was I'd set a couple trail cameras up and stuff like that. And anyway, so it's like the worst. It's like one of the worst days of the year.
Wait, back then, that's when the trail cameras weren't they like the size?
Oh, they were giant. They look like dude. The trail cameras back. I want to say they were like maybe a Cuddy Back or something like that. Or what was the other company? It was Cuddy Back and. Oh, dang it. I
had a Cuddy Back.
Yeah,
so I don't...
dude, but it literally looked like you mounted a mini fridge to a tree.
Yeah,
like,
they
were
huge.
giant.
And it took the D, like the big giant
and 8 of them at that.
Yep.
And and heck, so we knew there was a pretty good deer back there. And so anyway, I'm sitting in this old wooden stand. I've got my bow. The wind is blowing like 30 miles an hour. It's starting to rain. I was like, I'm getting down. And right as I'm about to get down, I look over, and here's that giant buck running straight at me across the field. So I'm freaking out, grab my bow. He gets it about 45. I shoot right over his back. Jeez, I keep telling all these everybody's gonna be like, God, this guy's shit.
It's like, man, he misses with every weapon there is.
But no, for real, I missed a giant buck with that bow, and after that point, man, I was freaking hooked. I was so messed up over missing that deer with my bow, and man, that was all she wrote from there. And that was probably, I want to say that probably happened when I was about 16, 17 years old, and then from then on out, man, I've been addicted to the bow hunting.
Man, that's how, like I said, the times that I make a bad shot, my initial reaction is like I'm done. I'm putting the bow up, but then I like shoot twice as hard as I did afterwards because I'm like, I can't let that stupid mistake or whatever happen again. And that's a bow hunting, man. That's why it kills me, the guys that like will buy a bow and don't put the effort in to get good at one.
Right.
And, I mean, honestly, if you're not going to make the time for it, I would rather you buy a crossbow. Like if you just are going to.
Or just shoot a gun.
Yeah, shoot a gun. Or, I mean, I like to think if you're like a capable person, shoot a compound bow.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, it takes time. I mean, it's a discipline, is what I think.
It is. It absolutely is a discipline. Well, I mean, think about it back. I mean, like way back in the day when people were still like fighting wars with bows. Like they had legit archers and stuff like that.
And them long bows.
Yeah, that's all. Like
Yeah.
and all those guys did was train.
Yeah.
All that was their purpose to fight and go into combat with the freaking bows.
Yeah.
There's a reason. There's a reason for that. But no, I agree with you, man. If you're gonna bow hunt, you have to practice.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to practice.
Well, and I think that's like glossed over.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I mean, will almost if it's sighted in.
Yep.
Then they're like,
I'm good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go until you make that bad shot on the buck of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Or you're just a normal hunt and you freaking shoot 2 feet over a doe.
Yes. Yeah, I mean it's one of the things. It's like it's probably one of the most humbling things.
Oh,
bow hunting because
for sure.
I mean, like I said, for me, man, especially because I'll shoot a ton.
Right.
And like I'm making like out here. I got my 3D target, and I'd shoot that thing 60 yards and be smoking.
Drilling. Yep.
And then I get out there and, like, make a bad shot at, like, 25 yards, and I'm like, I ought to be, like, freaking smoking.
It's a different dynamic, dude. You actually have a heartbeat in front of you.
Yeah,
and your heartbeat's going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my heart is just, like, pounding at that point. But it is, man. It's one of the most humbling things.
Yep. And when you miss or screw up, it is a kick right to the nuts.
Yes, it is. Hunting a lot, like that's what I think. Like I said, if anybody hunts long enough, they're going to get kicked in the gonads there at some point. But even rifle hunting, I mean, I've had some misses that were like haunt me to this day.
Yep.
Well, now let's say you've had a lot of kills, like good buck kills. And so, I mean, what would you tell a guy? How do you scout a new place? Like, let's say you get a new farm.
I'm really glad we're getting onto this now, so now I don't sound like such a turd about.
Yeah, let's hear some of your success stories now.
Well, I have had some really good.
Wait, hold on. Back up even more. How do you get a new place?
How do you get a new? What do you mean? How do you get a new?
How do you go about getting permission on the farm?
You just go ask.
Just go ask.
Well, okay, all right. Well, I mean, yeah. For real though, that is one of the most overlooked strategies. Dude, if you're on any of these public forums on social media and stuff, you see guys complaining all the time. Well, I ain't got nowhere to hunt. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Man, listen. But I'm sure you probably know somebody that farms.
Yeah.
You probably know somebody that has at least 5 to 10 acres somewhere. That's all it takes to hold a few deer, even if they're just crossing through it.
Yeah.
Man, just go ask. What's the worst they're gonna say? No.
Yeah.
And then they go trespass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Hey, you're preaching to the choir there. I get people all the time. They're like, "Hey, you gonna let me come hunt?" And it's like, well, it's already a bunch of us hunting, and then I later on find out that they're actually trespassing.
Right. Yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the hunting industry.
Yes.
But no, for real though, it's. I mean. That's the biggest thing. Just ask or go scout public land.
Yeah.
Dude, public land is so overlooked nowadays. everybody's like, oh, you set a stand up and somebody walks in on you and stuff like that, man. Well, then just go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And, and a lot of people will say that's easier said than done. And
a lot of people are lazy.
Yeah, they are. They are lazy. They want to walk 100 yards,
get
in a deer stand, smoke a cigarette, drink a cup of coffee, and they want to kill a deer.
Yeah.
That's how they want it to be.
Alan and I talked about that because I read a study or something that said that once you go past a mile deep into public land, I think you're like further than 80% of hunters will go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think Alan killed a really good buck
he did.
that way, and he was way in there.
Yeah, we covered that one, because he was several miles in.
Yeah.
And he actually got lost. Like somewhat lost in the woods.
Yeah, I think I remember him. I remember him telling me that he was turned around when he turned around when he killed that deer.
Yeah, because he went out, he shot it, and he was like knew he hit it, and then he went to where it was and couldn't find anything, and then he got to looking, and he got like somewhat lost and had no phone service. And so it almost ended up bad. But he said the same. Like he was like, you're gonna see people. But as soon as you get so far away from the parking, there's not going to be as many people.
Right.
So
well, nobody wants to lug gear in. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to take a climb unless you're just a ground hunter. Which I mean, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Heck, I know some guys that have killed some of the biggest deer of their lives sitting on the freaking ground.
Yeah.
But you're gonna be lugging gear in. You know, nobody wants to walk 1.5 miles, 2 miles in the woods, lugging a climbing stand, a bow or a gun, whatever. Like I said, people, they want to go. You know, they want to pull up and park. And they want to get out comfortably, they want to walk comfortably, and they want to sit comfortably. Yeah. That's how people want to kill deer.
Yep. So. Yeah, well, that's kind of in complete, I guess, opposition with public land hunting.
It is. Yeah.
But like I said, there is good deer on public land.
Yeah. There are plenty of good deer on public land.
Yeah. I think there's it's like 64 million acres of public land.
Yep.
And that's what I want to make an effort. I've told my wife, I want to make an effort of actually hunting that more. Right. I mean, I got farmland and stuff, but like even, I think it's easy for us to like write off, I mean, we've been talking about doing a Colorado elk hunt. I mean, it's easy to write off that we feel like that's not our public land because it's in Colorado, but that's our public land.
It's public land.
Yeah. I mean, we, as citizens, we own that.
Correct.
So now all right, so you've got the new place though.
Okay.
How do you lay it out? What do you do?
Well, if I'm gonna start hunting, and we're talking about hunting whitetails here.
Yes.
So, if I've got a brand new place, man, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go scout it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go scout it. I'm gonna walk it. I'm not gonna ride my 4-wheeler or my side-by-side all over it. I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna put the legwork in.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna find me some decent places to put cameras and. But before all the CWD stuff, go out there, find a good place to put some, attractant or whatever you put out, to just see what you got on there. But I mean, dude, even without that stuff, you could find you a good, just hammered out trail, set you a couple cameras up.
Yeah.
But dude, mainly is I will scout it a couple times and I will find the layout and find me a couple spots where I want to hang some stands. My favorite style of stand is a lock-on. That's the easiest to bow hunt out of. And I mean,
what are you using? What is it?
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. Man, I've got so many brands. dude, one of my highest kill spots is this little cheap like Walmart brand. Dude, your butt barely fits on it.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've let hunt out, they're like, "How the hell do you sit in this thing?"
Yeah.
But it was like literally like a $48 lock on from Walmart. So, but dude, I've used everything from Hawk, to that's probably my most comfortable.
Yeah, that's what I just bought. I bought that one. There's a Hawk.
Yeah.
And I've never used one.
Yep.
But I had heard a lot of good on them.
Yep.
So it looks really comfortable.
This podcast is not sponsored by Hawk, by the way, but that would be nice.
Yeah, if Hawk is listening. We're open to sponsorships,
but yeah, man, dude, I'm trying to think of some other ones. I think I have like the generic Walmart Ameristep.
Yeah,
Hey,
man, a lot of mine are Ameristep because shoot for like, I mean, you can get a good ladder stand for like $75.
Right.
So my dog is happy out there. I don't know if it's picking up in the microphones, but
is it picking that up, Nate? Oh.
Yeah, well, if anybody hears, he's just alerting us.
Yep. But let's see. I can't even tell you. I could the most notable one that anybody would really know. I feel like would probably be Hawk.
Yeah.
That I use. But no, back to it. After I've scouted it, let's say I've hung my stands, dude. I stay out of there.
Yeah.
I don't.
When are you trying to get in there? I mean, I know it obviously depends on when you get
permission. To check those cameras, I check it's really hard to not get antsy and want to go check those cameras every freaking 2 or 3 days, especially when you have a new spot.
Yeah.
But if you know there's a lot of deer activity on it, it's tough not to go in there. But man, the easier, and which this better, I would say this probably better than anybody with the success you've had here lately, man. You go and check your cameras every 2-3 weeks,
yeah.
Something like that. You give those deer their space. If you're trying to kill a mature buck, you give those deer their space.
Yeah.
Anybody can tramp all over the place and and check cameras every day, whatever. Go get in a stand and kill a doe. But we're talking killing mature bucks here.
Yeah, and it is hard. I mean, it's hard. Like, I mean, yeah, you want you want to go check cameras. I mean, it's like Christmas time when I check my cameras.
Right.
And especially, like, if I find a huge tree or something that's rubbed and I'm feeling pretty confident that it's going to be something nice.
Hold on. Yeah, let's let's talk on that real quick. So that actually happened to me this year down at one of the big clubs that I'm on. That's primarily whitetail deer hunting.
Yeah.
We were walking around this real low spot, swampy, and dude, I look over at this cedar tree. It is the size of my leg. Like, I was like, holy crap, that is a giant rub, and put a camera on it. Waited a few weeks. There was a couple of decent deer that walked by it, but you want to know what the deer was that was rubbing it?
Spike.
It was
something.
a 6 point.
A 6 point.
A little basket hit. Wasn't even outside of the ear. Now, that might have been like a community rub, but that just goes to show you, dude, that could be a giant tree, especially like an evergreen tree, a cedar tree, you know.
But I love cedars, man, because the deer love freaking cedar.
Oh, they just smoke them.
Yeah, like a cedar. If I find a cedar that's not rubbed, I'm like usually disappointed.
Right.
But yeah, that's like the farm in Bolton when I'm giving away the location of this one. But
let's not do that.
Yeah, this was years ago. That crazy buck that had the drop tines and everything. Yep. That's what
the famous 200-incher.
Yep, that broke my heart to this day. I still lose sleep over that deer. But I found that I was walking around and it was crazy on it because. And I guess this kind of helps if you're scouting a new place. The patch of woods he was in was like a 3-acre patch of woods right by the road.
Yep.
And it was the last place I was even going to scout because I was like, man, there ain't no freaking way that there is a good buck in this little patch of woods. And there was a cedar tree in there that was huge.
Yep.
And, yeah, it had been shredded. And I threw... I think it was that crappy. I think I still had the cutty back camera.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yep.
And I just had never thrown it away. And I put it on the tree because I remember I went back and checked it like 2 weeks later and I had like 4 pictures on it. Mm-hmm. And it was like the butt of a deer.
Right.
That's how crappy. And I was like, maybe I need to chunk this camera because it was a ton. This was also back when you could put corn and stuff out.
Right.
So I had corn out. Well, corn was gone, but I had 4 pictures.
Yeah.
I'm like, unless some coons ran like a vacuum cleaner under here and sucked it out under my camera, I know something's going on. So that's when I put another camera up, and that's when I got that freak. You remember I texted you a picture of him. Oh. And so, I mean, that one was a huge tree.
Dude, I almost shit my pants when I saw that deer.
I think I did whenever I saw that deer because I was like, this is like something that you see on TV.
Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, I'm telling you right now, that buck right there, that's the kind of deer that people go and pay like thousands of dollars to go kill. Like, that's a fence deer that some people go to kill.
Yeah, I mean, and then I missed him, and it was like the most devastating moment of my life.
Yeah.
But anyways, we can get back to where you were going. We got off on that, off the big rubs.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a big rub.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like big rubs.
They're good every now and then.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So now.
Why is your face turning so red?
I don't know. Yours is a little red over there. All right, so. You got the rubs. What now?
Right. Well, like I said, I mean, once I've done my primary scouting and once I've done my primary scouting and I've set the cameras out and hung my stands where I want to hang them. Like I said, I just try to stay out of there. I just try to stay out of there till I know it's time to hunt. And well, I mean. It just depends on like if I figure out like what the deer traffic is like, how leery these deer are. I'm gonna hunt it a few times and I'm gonna hunt it pretty hard just to kind of get a feel for how the deer are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're real leery and light on their feet and sketched out, and you've got a couple of big old mature does and stuff like that are just looking to bust you. Yeah. I don't hunt it as much.
Yeah.
And it also just depends on what I get on my cameras. If you end up on a target, you see a buck, like, that's it, man, he is a shooter for sure.
Yeah.
And that turns into a target buck, then then it becomes a different strategy.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna stay in there pretty decent. Now, I may not hunt the same spot every time. Even if I have a more permanent setup, that I don't want to fool with, like taking down and stinking the place up. Like this is where I start implementing a climbing stand.
Yeah, I try to like stress that to some people that you need more than just one stand.
Yeah.
Like on the farm where I killed the crypto bug, man, I got like 4 stands on that place.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, but like and I have some that are only bow. I've got one over there that only I bow hunt.
Right.
And then the other one where I killed him is only rifle pretty much.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can have too many stands on a place.
No, I don't think so. I mean, especially if it's just you or maybe or possibly maybe one other person hunting and stuff like that. The biggest thing is if we're talking killing mature bucks, is keeping as much human traffic out of there as possible. You know what I mean? And and obviously if you're gonna be in there, which man, we could go off on another tangent on this. Your scent control and stuff like that. You got guys that literally don't believe in. You just have some guys that just have the touch of luck, man. They can for real be sitting in a stand, smoking a cigarette, spitting dip spit, all that kind of stuff, and they'll kill a freaking stud.
Yeah, and they do. They hate on guys.
Yeah.
That try to.
Are you wasted $15 buying that shit?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, on that, do you believe in the ozonics, man? I mean,
I do.
You actually think it makes a difference?
This podcast is also not sponsored by ozonics, but that would also be nice.
Yeah, please. That's the only way I'll get one.
Yeah, I would, but I'm serious. On a serious, and then for real, this is not like any kind of paid ad or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I got an ozonics unit. And I believe it's one of the first models, and I was kind of iffy on it. I had read a bunch of reviews. I had seen different TV shows that had put a bunch of stuff out on them.
Hold on, hey, to give you some background on Brent. On this ozonics, what do them things cost? Like $150?
Closer to 200, I think.
All right, this guy, I can't even hardly get him to ever buy new cameras that are like you can get a camera for like $45, and then I find out he's got this ozonics, but it was a gift.
It was a gift.
All right,
it was absolutely a gift. Yeah, definitely not spending $200 of my own money on that. But on the for real though, now I would.
Yeah,
now I would.
Yeah.
I was iffy on it at first, and like I said, I had seen a bunch of people. On different outdoor TV shows talking about it. I'd seen people on Instagram, on Facebook talking about it. They're like, "Man, this thing's the jam. These things really work," and all that whatnot. And I was like, I don't know, man. It's a little bitty box that apparently puts out ozone. I don't know.
It sounds like crap.
It does. For that amount of money to your normal, your normal person, they're going to be like, I'm not spending $200 on that.
Yeah.
But dude, listen, I can remember the hunt that changed my mind. I did not realize that the wind I just completely set up wrong with the wind.
Yeah.
And it was kind of swirling down in that bottom that I was in. I was only about 13 feet off the ground in this lock on. I was like, dang, I'm like, man, and I knew these deer usually come. They usually the direction they came or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I knew that was the way they came. So I set that ozonics up, and that was the exact way that the wind was blowing. I was like, well, we're about to find out if this thing works. So I set it up. I'm sitting there, and sure enough, there's a little break in the wind. And I heard a stick break, and I turn around, and it's this giant doe. She's standing there looking. I'm like, she's already busted me, And man, it wasn't even 30 seconds, and 3 more big does come, and dude, they walk directly down, like they're downwind of me, and I've got that ozonics blowing in their face, and they literally did not even check up.
Yeah.
Now, could somebody say, like, well, that's because deer don't really smell it, blah, blah, blah. But, dude, I'm telling you, as many times as I've had deer bust me for scent, and like I know they smell me. You see the deer, they're throwing their nose up, they're licking their nose, and then they look right at you. They just smelled you. But, dude, they walked right. I mean, just walked right past me, and if I'd have been doe hunting that day, I could have easily gotten a kill.
Yeah. I need to test one out up there on my farm that I got the crypto buck on.
Dude, you absolutely should.
Yeah, that farm is like, I don't know why, but that's like
It's a wind tunnel.
It is, man. That place, the wind it never stops blowing there. Like, and that's what, like, my camp, I'm cold there all the time. Like, it doesn't have to be cold.
The couple times I've been out there, it's just like the wind never stops.
Yeah, I don't. So I guess I need to test one out.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah, just go buy you one, man.
Yeah,
it's just money.
I'll just go shell out $200. All right, so you got your stand. So you do use a climber some.
Yep, absolutely. Climbing stand is probably a very close second to the lock-ons.
You feel comfortable in one?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what Alan. That's like his go-to, man. He said he loves climbing stands. I've never used one.
Yeah, you're just more mobile. Yeah. And like I said, if you don't want to put a lot of pressure on a stand, maybe the deer they figured it out. You've got deer looking up at you. You know, you get they smell you out, whatever. It's just a very mobile way of whitetail deer hunting.
Yeah, well, and I told Alan I was probably going to get one, especially because I plan on trying to do some public land hunting.
Right.
And I feel like you pretty much have to use one on public land.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, like, you know, I've had those days where I'll carry in, because I buy the like big game quick sticks.
Yep.
And you know, I guess if I'm gonna do crap like that I did this day, I need to buy like the Hawk quick sticks.
Yep.
But I'll take the freaking big game quick sticks that connect together, and I'll have this grand idea in my head that I'm gonna go in like an hour earlier and put my lock on up.
Oh, TV always makes it look so much easier.
It does, and then like 2.5 hours later, I'm like drenched in sweat, and I have scared every deer off because it's like clang, clang as I'm like putting it together. And so, yeah, I guess that's why like a climber would definitely benefit on that aspect.
Right. Oh, well, yeah. They're definitely more quiet. I mean, it's just it's a good setup. Now, they are very dangerous.
Yeah.
There are plenty of different injury reports out there, and I mean, guys even around here that have had terrible accidents with climbing stands.
Yeah.
Wear your freaking safety harness.
Well, see, Alan had the bottom of his fall.
Yeah.
That's what because that's why I've never really used one. My dad never used climbers because he was always like, which, I mean, they're a lot better now than they used to be, too.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot better. And, I mean, there's different things you can do. Like, every climber I've ever used, like, I tie them together.
Yeah.
I've always got, like, a 5 or 6 foot rope that have them tied together. But the last, which obviously it should have been longer than that, but the last 3 or 4 years I have been vigilant about wearing my safety harness.
Yeah. Oh, I do, too, especially after I had kids. This is what, like, made me start wearing one, because I'll even like in a ladder stand I would never wear a harness.
Right.
I'm like, I'm in a freaking ladder stand.
Yeah, 12 foot off the ground.
Yeah, like I'm feeling, but I did buy like one called like the Lancer, and it was like 21 feet tall.
Right.
And it was like a cheaper stand. It was real wobbly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm definitely wearing a harness in this thing. Like I was scared just sitting in it. And I mean, I'm like one of them guys. I even put extra ratchet straps on the stand because I'm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm like untrusting of just. Some of them come with one strap on the stand, and I'm like, you want me to trust my life to this like 1 inch wide strap on here? So I always get an extra ratchet strap and slap on there.
That's smart. Smart. Never can be too safe with those deer stands.
Yeah, but I do. I actually tell people to buy a better harness. Like I think that the hunter safety systems or like Summit harnesses, because the ones that come with stands are terrible.
Right. Oh yeah. No, they're garbage.
Do you have a different harness?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, hey, you know what? Now that you said that, that's another stand I use. Is Muddy Outdoors.
Yeah.
Definitely use one of their lock-ons, and that's the safety harness I use.
Yeah. Did it come with a good safety harness, or did it come with a cheap
one? I think it was just like your standard one.
Yeah.
But no, I went out and bought my own, like, separate Muddy.
Yeah. So if you had to guide a new guy that's never hunted before, say a dude's listening today and he's green as they get, I mean,
don't start.
Yeah, because it's a downward spiral.
It is. Yep. Your family stays mad at you. You're always gone. You're always spending money. There's always something new coming out that you want to buy. Bows are expensive. Guns are expensive. Bullets are expensive.
Dude, a bow is more expensive than a gun.
Yeah.
Man, that freaking last bow I bought, I spent more on it than I've spent on any rifle that I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
And because I was like blown away by how expensive they are.
Yeah, it freaking racks up, man.
Yeah.
And you're so stoked, and you buy the bow, and then you realize the bow is bare.
Yeah, yeah. For $1,000, it's a bare bow, and then $1,000 more later
for all the accessories, your sight, your stabilizers, your arrows, your broadheads, if you shoot lighted nocks, all that kind of release, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it gets expensive, man. But if we're going back to your question about getting a new guy started, man, just try to find somebody that you trust. Maybe that's a hunter, and talk to them and get advice. And man, if it's not, and if you don't have anybody, if you literally just if you don't have anything in common with anybody that hunts or anything like that, then just like anything, go to YouTube and just watch different kind of people and stuff like that. And now your TV shows, it's not going to be that easy. You're not going to get a freaking kill every time you go out there and you go out on a hunt.
Yeah, and I mean, and those guys don't either.
No, they don't.
But I mean, they obviously the show,
but it's TV,
and the show wouldn't be a very enjoyable show probably if it's all this build up and then at the end the guy misses and he's like, dang it.
Yeah, right.
So I get it. I'm not slamming them. I get that. And I tell people, man, if you're starting, especially bow, buy a freaking used bow.
Right.
But not from eBay.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
That's man, I just don't, I get they're cheaper, but you can go, there's a pro shop almost everywhere.
Well, it's just like anything. Do your research.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be starting with bow hunting, do your research. And look, man, if you got the freaking nads to go buy a brand new freaking Matthews or Hoyt or whatever, whatever it is, and freaking deck that thing out, then by all means. But when you go buy that bow, you shoot it.
Yeah.
You practice with it.
We're a little biased around here.
Yeah.
Man, we're a little biased. Now, Matthews, I wish you were listening because I would love a sponsorship from Matthews.
Absolutely.
That would save me about $1,800 whenever the next time comes. But
well, man, that it's interesting that you bring that up. I mean, yeah, we both shoot Matthews, and like you said, we're a little biased. But man, at the end of the day, with as much technology and how much has come out with bows, dude, there's not a bad compound bow anymore.
Yeah, I mean, even, and I don't say this negatively, but like even Bear makes good bows.
Oh, dude,
and I think you can get one of them for like $500.
Yeah, the whole setup. You go to Bass Pro or any kind of general outdoor store. That's usually there. And like you said, not to the Bear's a great bow. I know a lot of people that shoot with those bows and do well with them. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just the technology. I mean, and what's crazy to me is like all your bigger companies and stuff like that. They come out with a different bow every year. How do you make them better than they are now?
Yeah. And I think, didn't Matthews, they came out with like 2 bows or something, like the Triax and the Verdicts or whatever.
It's insane.
And I'm like, I don't know, like the Halon 32 that I'm shooting, I'm like, I don't know how it gets any better.
Yeah, they're going to have to make the cams like the size of dinner plates.
And they'll be shooting 450 feet
per
second.
And at that point, it's a crossbow.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I've always wanted, like, my Halon, I'm sure, is obsolete now.
Oh, dude.
I think I've always heard after 2 years a bow is considered like obsolete.
Well, I still shoot the no cam.
Yeah, well, how old is that? 5 years?
At least.
Yeah.
It's 2020. That bow came out in 2014.
Yeah,
so it's 6 years old.
Yeah, your bow's like a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's
man.
ancient. And it will kill the crap out of some deer.
Well, that's the thing. And that's why, I mean, I bought that DXT.
Yep.
And that bow was, it was really old.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, dude, the DXT, man, I just sold my DXT. I actually bought it used off a buddy.
Yeah.
And, dude, I killed a ton of deer with that bow.
Yeah.
I mean, that DXT, man, that's a 12-year-old bow.
And it was a Cadillac. I went from that Reflex, which is the knockoff Hoyt.
Yeah.
But and like talking about getting a cheaper bow or something, starter bow, the main thing is get it fitted to you, because that's what that Reflex I had. I kind of dogged that bow.
Yep.
But it was set up for a 27-inch draw length, and I got like a 29 or 29.5-inch draw length. So like I never got
look
comfortable.
at you, dude. You're a human Yeti.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, that's it.
You're like 7 feet tall.
And long arms, man.
Long arms, and you grow your beard up to your eyeballs.
Yes. Yes. Well, it would grow up to my eyeballs. But Sam Elliott's does the same thing. So I'm like, hey.
There you go. That's okay.
He's a beast, too.
There you go.
That's what I tell Marcy. If she's like, you need to shave, I'm like, well, man, Sam Elliott, his beard grows up there. You like him. But get a bow fitted to you, man.
Right.
I mean, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, I would say you could take a not so great bow, but if it's fitted to you right, you can do pretty good with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, yeah, it has to be. I mean, nowadays, it has to be fitted to you. It has to be your draw length. Where the end of the draw sets on your jaw and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be drawing a bow and it finishes out at the tip of your nose.
Well, that's like how that reflex. I never could lock out.
Right.
I was in like a weird position the whole time. And then,
you're almost shooting traditional.
Yeah. I mean, there was no like let off point because I'm like trying to overdraw the cams because I'm like, where is the freaking wall in this thing? Like, when am I gonna get somewhere with this?
Yep.
But I didn't know enough about bows at the time to know. I just bought. It was one of those like ready to hunt packages.
Yep.
And I got it that way. Now, before we dive into the last two things, I do want to talk a little bit. You do turkey hunt.
Yep. Turkey hunt quite a bit.
I wanted to talk on turkey hunting because everybody loves freaking turkey hunting. And I want to know, first of all, have you ever bow hunted turkeys?
I have.
Have you ever killed one with a bow?
Negative.
Have you ever shot one with a bow?
I've shot at them. I've shot at them several times.
Just miss,
dude. It's like think about it this way. It's like shooting like a football with a turkey neck on it.
Yeah,
dude. That is a hard animal to kill with a freaking bow, man.
Where are you aiming? I mean, are you trying to hit him in the head?
No. Oh, no. No, it's not like a shotgun. You're not trying to hit him in the head with the bow. Maybe some badass is, but I mean, not me. No, the times that I've always seen and always read that you're supposed to shoot at them like you just kind of think where the vitals are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like almost kind of center mass. But the first one I ever missed, dude, it was perfect. And I just got too caught up in the moment, man. Dude, people that listen to this are gonna be like, this guy's the worst hunter I've ever listened to.
Why does he have this guy on here? Is this to like make us feel better about ourselves?
But hey, if it makes y'all feel better, then more power to you.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, man, I called this bird in. He was gobbling his head off. He was probably a 2-year-old bird, man. I could just tell he was gobbling at everything, man. I could have hit a stick up against a tree and he'd have gobbled at it.
Yeah,
I thought it was a jake at first because a lot of times a jake will do that. They'll just gobble at everything. Anyway, he's a pretty good bird. I saw him coming across the field and he was strutting every 10 yards, and I was like, dude, I'm about to smoke this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm in a cane blind, and I had this perfect little slot set, and it was just working out perfect, dude. And he got in within, I want to say he was at 25 yards. And I'm like, dude, this is a meatball of a shot.
Yeah.
I drew, dude. He strutted up right as I drew, and I'm like, oh my! I was like, I wish I was filming this.
Yeah,
dude. I shot high and shot straight through his fan.
What was his reaction?
Well, he kind of jumped, and I think it kind of split one of his tail feathers, and he kind of ran around in a circle, and I was fumbling trying to get another arrow, and dude, he was gone. Yep, I shot straight through his fan, just like.
And he was a pretty good one.
Oh
too.
yeah. Now this was probably 6 or 7 years ago, But and then a lot of times, like around here, you'll have a fall turkey season.
Yeah. I've never hunted in the fall.
It's only I haven't really either because the birds just aren't really gobbling and stuff. But
yeah.
But you know how many times you've been sitting at a deer stand and you hear some leaves and you look down, it's freaking turkeys, right? So if you're in a county with the fall turkey season, it's like, I'll just smoke a freaking turkey, Well, this past year, which one of my buddies, man, he said he heard how many times I shot. He said he was laughing his ass off in the deer stand. I had in my quiver, I think I had 7 arrows, and I had a group of hens come in. And those fall turkey seasons, you can kill a hen too.
Yeah.
And dude, I shot at 4 different hens with all
from the deer stand.
Yeah, from the deer stand. Yeah, from the deer stand, and missed all 7 times. I texted my boss, I'm out of bullets.
Yeah.
So man. I just haven't had the greatest of luck shooting turkeys with a bow.
I said I was gonna try it this year.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like I said, they're just a weird animal to shoot with a bow.
Yeah, like I said, dude. I mean, it's a little bit bigger, maybe like a rugby ball. It's like a rugby ball with a turkey head on it, dude. I mean, it's just tough to shoot.
Did you ever see the video of the guy that did shoot the head off one with a bow?
No,
man, it was wild.
No, dude, you've got all these wild, like all these crazy turkey hunting videos now. The guys that do the fan stalking,
get it like
within
2 yards.
within 2 feet, and they're just freaking decapitating them. Which I mean, if you're wanting a quick, clean, painless kill, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I would never have that. Like, they would never come that close to me, I don't think.
Yeah, dude.
I had a coyote. I was hunting one time, and I had just a hen decoy out, and I had a coyote come up and sniff the hen decoy. Like, it was probably 10 yards in front of me, and I wanted to blast it, but then at the same time, for one, turkey shells are like $10 a shell, and I'm like, if I shoot this thing, I'm probably gonna scare every turkey away. So I let it go. Yep. But I mean, and I mean also, like I said, the freaking shells are so dadgum expensive.
But you know what's funny about that? I mean, with how skittish and just frilly turkeys are, they scare off real easy. They got crazy eyesight. I have shot and killed a turkey before, and another turkey gobbled at the shot.
Really?
Yep.
Have you ever had them flog the turkey you shot?
Yeah. Oh, I've had that happen several times. You have multiple gobblers come in, you drop one, and they start beating the crap out of him. Makes no sense to me.
Hey man, kick him while he's down. Hey, and what trips me out, especially with turkeys. I was doing that segment I made for how to kind of start bow hunting.
Right.
And I was filming in the woods, and I was coming out of the woods, and I'm loud. I'm pretty sure I was talking on my phone.
Right.
I'm walking through the woods, crunching leaves and talking full voice in my phone, and I look up and there's like 6 gobblers in the open field.
Just hanging out.
I'm right in the edge of the woods.
Yep.
And I was thinking to myself, I actually was able to get on them and film. But I'm thinking the whole time, like, if I had a shotgun in my hand and it was turkey season, they would have been gone, like,
oh, yeah, that's how it goes.
150 yards ago. Like, it just trips me out.
Well, it's like when you're turkey hunting, you're set up, you're sitting there or whatever, and you stand up, like, you hadn't seen turkey, you stand up and stretch out, and there's a deer 5 yards from it, and he's just looking at you. You're like,
Well, I used to be terrible about that. You talking about you would get up at the magical hour, kind of mad. Man, when I was a kid, I can remember I'd just get so bored.
Right.
And it'd be like,
I was scared of the dark.
Well, I guess I was. I don't know that I was like bored because it'd be.
I was a patsy.
Well, at least she's honest about it. It was probably. It would be the last 20 minutes of light.
Right. Which
is like that's like the time. Like you stay in the stand.
Right.
And my dad used to pound that into my head. He's like, you stay until the stand, like until. But like that last little bit, I'm like, I haven't seen anything. Nothing's coming out. So I would get out of the stand and I'd go walking, and I would almost always blow deer out.
Yep.
They would be like 10 yards from me, and it's like, man, if I would have just stayed,
right
there they would have been. But that last like 20 minutes of sit felt like 3 hours when I was a kid, and now I don't know. It's the older I get, the better the sitting gets.
Right.
Which somebody was saying too, we also have good phones that have games on them and stuff, so it does make a difference.
Yep. The one of the biggest demises of hunting.
Yes, is the games. Yeah, it's no telling how many deer have walked by.
Oh yeah.
When we're playing like pool on our phone.
Yeah,
or
whatever.
Yeah.
Play
On turkeys.
pool on your phone.
Yeah, man. What is it?
I forget. Yeah, you have an Android.
Yeah, it's got a lot better stuff on it than an iPhone does. And you got like a typewriter or something on your iPhone, I think. It's Snake.
This man said he plays pool on
Snake.
his Android.
Brent, I think the only game you can get is Snake. That little thing. Still.
Hey, I wish, dude. Hey, those Nokia phones. That was the baddest phone ever.
You could smash that thing with a hammer.
And still have
good.
full bars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Razor was the same way that they came out with. Them Razors would last
I broke every Razor. I think I went through 4 Razors.
Dude, them things would last like 20 years.
Yeah. I remember the last Razor I had. Actually, I broke it in half, but the bottom half of it still worked. I couldn't hear anything anybody could say, but I could dial like numbers I memorized, like my mom or dad or whatever. I could call them, and they could hear me. And it's anyway.
Now that is some
that
janky.
lasted about 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty janky on that one. So turkey hunting. Let's see now. I mean, you primarily, obviously, I'm gonna say shotgun turkey hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, what shells do you use?
What did I shoot last year? I think there was a brand like called Nitros or something like that.
Green.
Yeah, I think real high end. What was that?
Oh wait, no, you're talking about the nice ones. It's not the heavy metals or whatever, is it?
No, I don't think so, dude. Don't give me a line. It made me sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I believe they're called Nitros. They're they're like $70 a box.
All right, a guy was talking about that on Facebook. I
Yep.
saw. He was saying they were like $10 a shell.
Dude, I'm talking, high. I mean, but everybody was talking about they'll kill birds up to 65 yards, like smoking them and stuff, like patterning real well and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the shell. I only killed one turkey last year, and it worked out perfectly. Heck, I killed him at 25 yards.
Yeah. Are you shooting 3.5s?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always shoot 3.5s. People are like, "Oh, I used to shoot 2 and 3." Okay, cool story. Yeah.
Man, I'm the same way. And like, I people all the time are like, a 3-inch does just as good, and I'm like, no, 3.5, 3.5 does pretty freaking good for me.
Yeah, just do you.
Yeah, and like, I'm a kind of guy. I would always rather have too much power than not enough.
Yep.
I mean, and I know some guy.
It's all about shot placement.
That's what I was gonna say. Some guy right now is like, my 3-inch will do just as good as a 3.5. But it's like, man, I don't care. I want as much. If they come out with a 4-inch shell, I will start shooting a 4-inch.
Yeah, just do you, man. And like, listen, if you want to shoot a dang bazooka at the turkey or whatever, then do it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean,
but if you want to be a freaking sniper and shoot 2 3/4 or 3-inch on a week, whatever, man. I mean, it's whatever works for you.
Yep.
And I've always shot 3.5.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, that's how my dad, he shot 3.5.
Yep.
And duck hunting, I shoot 3.5s. I'm gonna shoot the most that I can usually.
Right.
Man, I like long beards. I don't know. I've never.
Yeah, long beards. Yeah, that was one that's one that I've always shot. I think I got like 2 or 3 boxes of those.
I like those because they're not really expensive.
That's good shell.
Yeah, we patterned. There was one other one, Winchester had the XPRs or something.
Right.
I can't, or no, double something. I can't remember, but it was another turkey load.
Yeah.
And man, we shot it. We patterned it at 40 yards.
Yep.
And they all did good. We had some of the old, not the nitros you're talking about.
Right.
You know, the old nitro turkey loads.
Right.
The
Yeah.
big green
big green
shells.
shell. I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We had some of those, and the 2 different Winchesters, and some of the heavy metals. We were kind of trying.
Yep.
And dude, those long beards like chopped the target in half like on his neck. So that's. And I mean, I think it was like $17 for a box.
You know what? Now that you say that, I remember. Mossberg shotguns are notorious for kicking the absolute dog crap out of you.
That's what Dad uses.
Yeah. My dad has an old turkey gun. That's a big Mossberg. It's like one of the first ones that could chamber 3.5.
Yeah.
And I remember he did something. He like sprayed, like I think he was trying to get a choke out or something like that. Sprayed some WD-40 down in it, and then he shot one of those big 3.5. Dude, it looked like a flamethrower came out. Yeah, when we were patterned turkey load. Yeah, dude, it smoked him. Dude, he looked like Mike Tyson hit him, man. Freaking kicked the crap out of him.
Dad used a Mossberg duck hunting like one time, and it was one of them things where like the fly over the top, and you're raising
straight
your
up shot,
and he shot, and he like, sometimes you get kind of wild with your shouldering, and somehow that gun hit him in the nose, and it like bloodied his nose. And
that's the typical Mossberg story.
Yeah, well, he was like, he never took a Mossberg again. Now he does turkey hunt with a Mossberg. Now mine, I got just my Beretta Extrema that I've always used.
Right.
But well, man, turkeys. You got anything else you want to add on turkeys? I mean, how you tell a guy to go about turkey hunting? Because turkey hunting's not for just.
No, it's tough, man. It takes a little more. They don't just walk by you like deer do sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to be decently versed in calling, whether it be mouth calling or slate calling or box calling or slate calling, all that. Whatever. There's so many calls out there, and You just have to know how to. You just kind of have to know how to work them and how to figure them out, and find the birds that are hot, and maybe you get lucky and get up on a couple of younger birds that gobble a lot and stuff like that. Man, the birds that are, which you can ask any turkey hunter, the birds that are more vocal, and stuff like that. That's always more fun to hunt, and you have a better chance at getting in closer to them because obviously it's like a Marco Polo game.
Yeah.
You're calling at them, they gobble. They gobble, you call at them, but it's just back and forth like that. But dude, some days are tough, man. Some days you get in the woods and there's no gobbling.
Yeah.
You can hoot owl call at them, you can do whatever, crow call, and it's nothing. But then you can set up in the field with a couple of decoys and just call once every 30 or 40 minutes or so. Next thing you know, there's a gobbler in your decoys.
Yeah. And it's hard, like for me, especially farming. A lot of times, I mainly only get to hunt the early season,
right?
And that's they're like always still locked up with a hen.
Yep,
and
it's tough.
It is because I'll go and I'll get one gobbling. I'll strike and I'll get one hit, but
you got to be convincing.
Yeah, and he'll never move.
Yep,
and that's because he'll hit back and he'll hit back, and then finally he just goes quiet.
Yep,
and so that's kind of. And I want to actually use that. I got two topics I want to cover here at the end that I think will be a little kind of fun topics, and I'll use turkey hunting as a good transition on those. Talking about them gobbling, and you can't get them to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys online that are like, well, turkey hunting, if he's gobbling across my neighbor's property, I'm still going to go over there.
Here we go.
Any turkey hunter worth his medal will go across that property line. And, they make comments like, things were a lot better back before the no trespassing signs were everywhere.
Right.
So kind of the trolls, man. What's your thoughts on the internet trolls? Because me and you've talked a lot about the FUDs, as we like to call them.
Well, are we talking about the guys that are okay with trespassing, or are we talking about the guys that are...
Well, let's just lump them all into one.
Okay, let's act like they're one and the same.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you can just go ahead and assume that's a guy that's okay with shooting a turkey on somebody else's property is probably an internet troll.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dude, as far as man, if it's not your land, don't go. Come on. Would you if you're one of those guys that talk about I ain't got nowhere to hunt, and then all of a sudden you get somewhere to hunt and it's your property? Do you want some guy stomping all over your property?
Yeah.
Property killing whatever, hunting it all the time? While you've put all this money and work into it? No. You know what I mean? It's all fun and games to talk about killing a turkey that's right across the property line and this and that. But dude, that's somebody else's land that they paid for, that they've put work into, and all that kind. Just switch. But people are selfish, man. They don't think like that.
Yeah.
They don't think that that all they see is this turkey that I've been working towards all 2 hours of this morning. He's right there across the fence. I gotta get him.
Yeah, and like I said, man, you got it too on the time and the money that the guy has put into it that owns that land. Mm-hmm. It's easy to like villainize this guy.
Yep.
And as farming, I get so much freaking crap.
Yep.
People are like, you farmers never let anybody hunt any places.
Oh, that's what they all say.
Yeah. And but it's like, all right, there's me, my dad.
Yep.
I got two cousins, a brother-in-law, and he's got a son that's 9.
Right.
He's going to start hunting.
Yep.
I got an uncle. I got it's like 8 or 9 of us, and it's not like we farm 10,000 acres.
Right.
We realistically hunt probably about 1,400 acres.
Right.
That's not a lot for 9 different people.
Yeah, which to some people, even when they hear 14, they hear anything over 200 acres, they're like, that is bomb.
Oh yeah, they are. But at the end, and also,
but like you said, you've got 9 to 10 guys hunting on that 1,400 acres, right?
And also, we pay money for all of it.
Yeah,
and that's I know there's some guys that they fall into the troll class that think that like me especially, that I'm like this just little kid that's inherited and just given all this hunting land.
Yeah.
And
it's called jealousy.
Yeah, well, and and because you know me,
yep,
that pretty much every bit that I hunt, I actually either rent or I pay to own.
Right.
Like we're on my property right now. This
Right.
is my family's property. I don't have to pay anything to be here. I don't hardly ever hunt here. There's not actually really anything like that. It's not very good hunting right here.
Right.
Like there's just not a buck that I'm after here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's not good hunting. There is wildlife, but it's not a target buck here.
Right.
The places where I have target bucks, I actually pay out of my own pocket.
Right.
And that's what I talked to a guy. We got into kind of a little debate, I guess, at one time after the crypto buck, and he made a remark. And if he's listening, I'm not trying to blast him because he kind of later on messaged me or commented and was like, this is what I was trying to say. It just came off wrong.
Right.
But he made a remark about hunters or farmers won't let people hunt.
Yeah.
And I said, well, man, I pay thousands of dollars a year and I can hunt the farms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they make money. I mean, weather or something, that farm is a gamble. I mean, I might not make any money on that farm. I still got to pay the thousands of dollars on it. And another dude commented back and was like, yeah, just pay thousands of dollars for hunting rights. And I was like, people literally do it every year.
Yeah, right.
Like, there's people out there that have normal jobs that don't farm. They don't make any income off of that land.
Right.
And
well, listen, guys like that. I wouldn't even go to say that guys like that are internet trolls per se. Those are guys that are just not willing to make their situations better.
yeah,
You know, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, like, like to a point, I could see where somebody like that would think, that just hasn't had a lot of advantage in like hunting property and stuff like that, and be like, oh yeah, easy for you to say to go pay thousands of dollars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, dude, listen, if you want more land to hunt, like we were talking about earlier, go like find somebody and just ask. You know what I mean? Like ask, like find places to, everybody keeps talking about the numbers and hunters and stuff like that are down. Well, then start asking people with land if you can deer hunt. Come off as somebody that is willing to swallow your pride. Go ask if you can have permission to hunt. If you get permission to hunt, then take care of the property.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't want to get off on that on a tangent like that, but just guys like that, they're not willing to better better their situation.
Well, and I'm going to piggyback on something you said. And it happens to me a lot having land is whenever I don't hear from them all year.
Yeah.
And then it's like all of a sudden hunting season comes around.
Hey, man.
Yeah, they're like,
what's up, dude?
Yeah, hey, I haven't talked to you all year. I know you planted some food plots. You've spent a lot of money getting this place ready. I'd love to come hunt with you sometime. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, yeah, man, I appreciated all that help you gave me.
No.
Yeah. I'm like, I appreciate your help and time and effort you put into it.
Right.
So use your brain. If you really, how bad do you want to hunt the place?
Right.
I mean, if all else fails and nobody will give you just private permission, then you just got to bite it off and lease it.
Right.
I mean, but I can honestly say right now, if I had a job, if I was still a machinist, wasn't farming, I would lease hunting ground. Right. If I had no other, I can honestly say it means enough to me that I would sacrifice that money to lease hunting ground because that is what I love to do.
Correct.
So, all right, and here to finish up, we got to talk about our good friends at PETA. Man, I know
why do we have to do this?
Because it's fun to talk about PETA. I've had such good interaction with PETA people, and I know you have too. When you did American Ninja Warrior, didn't you get some pretty good stuff off of that one?
Yeah. On Ninja Warrior, they did call me the Redneck Ninja on there. They gave me that nickname.
Yeah.
And when they flew the crew out here to kind of do a day in the life, they were out here for 2 days with me and stuff like that, and they saw everything, and they talked to me, and they got these interviews where they talked about me squirrel hunting and stuff like that. Obviously, they're going to blow all that up because that's entertaining, right? So that's entertaining and all this kind of stuff. And dude, I remember like after they blew me up on that one episode and like had all that stuff on there about me hunting stuff like that, I got on Twitter and there were people on there. They were like, "This guy freaking hunts squirrels," and no joke, like I want to say I got like some kind of email that said like, "Hey, your episode had 6 million viewers or something like that." Like that blew my mind. But then I kind of understood like why my Twitter and all that kind of stuff and Instagram was blowing up and stuff. And I would say 50% of it were people like, "I can't believe you hunt. You eat squirrels. What's wrong with you?" Like just people were just insane, man. And but no, for real, PETA actually, like the actual PETA account on Twitter, they tweeted me and like I'd have to look it up. I have it screenshotted somewhere. But this has been a few years ago. But they were like, this is just another example of a terrible person, just uneducated. I mean, just said all this. They called me uneducated. They said I was a borderline murderer and something like that. And the tweet had like 2,000 retweets. I was like, golly, dude.
Man, you're a very hated person.
Yeah, dude, it was rough. It was rough there for a minute. But dude, listen, they're morons.
They are.
And if you look into how much damage they actually cause to different kind of animal, like actual real animal rights, things like that, dude, they're idiots.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too on it is, like as far as PETA and. Well, and I do, before we get into I wanted to lead it into vegan, and that's where we'll end. But the best message that I got, I remember this one because it was just so hilarious. I had a person, it was a comment to me. My article got shared by TWRA, and I could see the sites that it got shared to, and there was some that were obviously like pure animal rights people.
Yep.
They were like huge for saving the animals, but they were very pro-choice people too, which always tripped me out. It's like, so you're for killing babies but not animals,
right?
But anyways,
such a dichotomy.
Yeah, I mean, like the voice for the voiceless, but the fetus inside that doesn't need a voice according to them. But anyways, I got a comment on there, and there was a lot of them like, this guy's he's an arrogant ass and needs to be shot. I wish his head was on my wall. Yeah. And then I'd look at the people, and I don't think I'm a bad dude by any means, but I'd look at this person, I'm like, I wish you'd come try to put my head on the wall. But I got one that said,
welcome to the internet.
Yes. A guy said, I can't remember if it's a guy or a woman, but she said, he should be shot in the head and shot in the anus. And I was like, I almost commented to her and was like, I know that you meant this offending me, but this is hilarious. Like I almost was like, I want to congratulate you on originality. Right. I had a lot of.
So
people,
they want to kill. So did she say she wants to shoot you in the head first,
then
the anus?
That's actually what I thought about that, and I was like, if she's gonna shoot me in the anus, please shoot me in the head first.
Yeah.
But that was
that's kind of an important part.
It is, and I'm thinking she said in the head and then the anus.
Yeah.
So okay. I mean, at that point,
there
I
you
don't
go.
really care. I
well,
mean,
back to your topic about internet trolls.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm shot in the head and dead, I mean, I don't care if you shout me in the anus.
Yeah.
What difference?
Clearly, she has the IQ of this desk.
Yes. Of the 10 cats that she probably has hoarded in her house.
Right.
Now, but the vegans, man, the last thing, this vegan movement is about to drive me nuts. And one thing that trips me out, it kind of ties in with PETA. They're against cattle farms and hunting and all that stuff. Man, and they eat. I'm glad y'all eat soy. I grow soybeans. I appreciate y'all eating soy, PETA. But an animal dies for that because I'm in the combine when I'm harvesting. It's no telling how many rabbits and field mice and things that I run over. Like I see rabbits and stuff, and that's the ones that I see get out of the way. And I'll try to, we try to slow down and let them get out of the way, but it's no telling how many I don't see that I'm squishing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they die. People that don't eat plant-based, something dies still for your food.
Oh, yeah. No matter, dude, this day and age, no matter whatever your dietary beliefs are, whatever your diet is, something died for you to be able to eat that way.
Yep.
I mean, it is something died for you to be able to eat that way. And I want to say that America and maybe a couple other places, I can't imagine there's too many other countries that can actually sustain their culture eating strictly vegan. Have you ever like looked just how expensive it is? Listen, I'll just be honest with you, dude. After that documentary came out, the Game Changers, which really
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I watched it twice actually.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to try to figure out the real information and stuff like that, which in a lot of it, dude, is like blatant, obvious information, you know.
Yeah.
But they made it. It was made so well, it was extremely entertaining.
Yeah, I heard it was very well produced.
Yeah, it was, and there were some decent facts in it and stuff like that. But you know, but I wanted to try it. I wanted to try it. Being, you know, I was like, you know what, this is totally against everything I stand for, and I just don't believe in it. So, dude, I did it for about 2.5 weeks.
The vegan thing?
I did.
Oh man,
I went straight plant based. It was extremely expensive.
Yeah,
extremely expensive. Even for somebody who might be well off, that is a lot of money to eat straight. You know, and I will say the first couple of days when I woke up, I was like, wow, I feel like light on my feet, and I feel pretty. But dude, I felt weak.
Yeah.
That was just me. And I mean, if anybody that's vegan that's listening to this, they're probably, you know, they're probably fighting and scratching to get through the.
There's no vegan listening to this.
but for real, the first few days I did it, I was like, man, I actually feel pretty good. But the longer, like leading into the second week, I could tell, and I don't know if this is just because my body is so used to like almost basically a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I just had no, I had no like
Get up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no bounce to me, man. It was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see how anybody really. I don't see how like without a very well off, you know, structure. I don't see how that is a sustainable lifestyle.
I would imagine. I would be like you. Like I said, I'm almost bordering on like the carnivore diet.
Yep.
Which it did trip me out. Did you see where Rogan did the carnivore diet?
Yeah, he's still on it.
But did you see when he
he
first started? He said he had explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, he said he almost shit his pants like every day.
Yeah, that tripped me out.
Yeah.
But man, the like one that hurt my heart was freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger because he backed the Game Changers, and I mean it is, and seeing
Oh, did it? Okay,
yeah.
He produced it.
That's what I knew. Arnold was something.
Oh, I forgot. You went plant based for a while.
I did the same as you did. I tried it.
Yeah. Well, how'd it go?
It was Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan.
That produced
Jackie
it?
Chan? Is Jackie Chan a vegan?
Was the director.
I knew he was.
Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan were producers.
Is Jackie Chan a vegan?
I don't know, but Schwarzenegger admitted later that he's not full vegan.
Yeah,
he's definitely not full
He claims
vegan.
he's like 80% vegan.
Still eats 8 eggs a day.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's what kills me. And
Congrats,
I know,
you just killed chickens.
yeah, the premise of Game Changers is supposed to be like you can be an elite athlete with it. But when Arnold was an elite athlete, that man was hammering meat like it was going out of style.
Hammering meat, huh?
Hammering meat, man. He was a meat hammering machine back then. But he ate. It's just not how much freaking steaks and stuff he ate back then.
Just hammering meat,
Just
baby.
hammering meat. Arnold the meat hammerer. But that's what gets me. I mean, he's not, and the guy in it, which I did listen to Rogan when they had the dude on it that disputed it, and then I did listen to the one where they had the UFC fighter on, and he freaking raped that guy on it, like because he did make me like I was like I'm gonna watch it just.
He has good. What's his name? James Wilkes.
Yes.
Dude, he's a highly intelligent guy.
Oh, he
was a hell of a fighter back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, before he got all injured, he's a smart dude.
Yeah, I could tell. I mean, he freaking ripped that dude that was on there.
Yeah.
But they do. It's misleading. Like I know because I follow some guys like Robert Oberst that's in powerlifting or strongman, and they had the guy that was the power lifter in there, and they talk about like the records that he has.
Right.
And Robert was like, there's records everywhere.
Yep.
He was like, there's a record probably wherever you are. And he was like, this guy he said the weights that he's setting records with are my warm-up weights. He was like, he's not, he said and he straight up, Robert was like, there are no elite power lifter strongmen that are vegan. Yeah. I mean, he said.
It's just not, like I said, it's just not sustainable.
No. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, look, if you want to go vegan, I don't care. I mean, I don't give a crap. But don't do this like holy roller PETA, you're a bad person because you eat meat.
Listen, I feel like, and just to, I don't know, I guess play devil's advocate maybe, like, I feel like a lot of them, they probably mean well with it, you know.
Yeah.
They probably mean well with it, you know. They just don't feel good about killing animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They might be the type that like, hey, I don't care. I'm gonna live my lifestyle. You live your lifestyle. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine. And to me, at that point, dude, cool. You know what I mean. But it's the hyper vegans that do it.
Also do CrossFit.
Let's not get into that. Yeah, but like they don't even have to be like following you on Instagram or anything like that. But you post a picture of a deer, if you post a picture of a deer kill or something like that, and you just get some random like Indian dude. It's like go vegan.
Yeah.
It's like no.
Hey, what do they think? What's their plan? What is their thing? What do they think they're going to accomplish?
By telling us to go vegan?
Yeah.
We might go vegan.
They actually think it's going to work?
I don't know, dude.
They think their like 2-word sentence is going to make you go, damn it, he's right.
Yeah,
I'm going to go vegan.
I don't know.
He's convinced me.
Maybe they feel like they're doing their part.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, what's your closing statement there? Anything you want to close on?
My closing statement. Anybody that's a new hunter or you know that's they're just kind of getting into it and anything like that. If you have any questions at all, obviously you could ask either of us, me or Logan. Or just anybody that you have in common that's well versed in it, stuff like that. If you're gonna bow hunt, go get you a bow, practice and shoot every day.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say QDMA, the Quality Deer Management, man, they have some really good stuff on there.
Yeah.
I just have been starting at Deer Steward course.
Right.
And I mean, again, for somebody starting out, it would be really beneficial.
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
for any level, because
Right.
I mean, I'm learning stuff. I've been hunting forever.
Right.
But QDMA is good. And yeah, like Brent said, reach out to any of us. Brent, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's been fun.
Heck yeah, man.
So everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and hope everybody just has a blessed day. Thank you.
See ya.